Welcome back, everyone, to the second More Than an Admin news show. I hope you enjoyed the first episode. I know the first one is always the most awkward and cringeworthy, but again, we're only getting better from here. So you might have noticed also that we launched a little bit late, and that's because I learned a lot about trying to do a live video. Number one thing that I learned was that it is really hard to do anything live without a producer or someone behind the scenes helping you out. I mean, we all know this as admins. And so I tried to do everything myself and realized that I need a producer of some sorts. And I'm very, very excited when my boyfriend moves to Florida in a couple of months, because then I will have someone here who can help do all the behind the scenes with the links and helping me set up lighting and my camera. It's all going to be growing pains, but it's going to get better and better and better. You might see the next couple of them at least will be pre-recorded, but they will be eventually released Tuesdays and Wednesdays at 8 p.m. Eastern time. Then the other thing is that I realize how much I hate editing myself. Not only listening to myself is bad, but now seeing myself on video, I feel as though that there's always something I want to change. The perfectionism in me really comes out. And so trying to edit the first one just took me so much longer than I thought it would be. So I apologize. I know some of the stuff wasn't as timely, but again, we're learning along the way. And for anyone who is scared to be on video, sometimes we just have to be real with ourselves where it's, okay, we're going to go on video, but we might not be the one that wants to edit ourselves. I had been telling myself, no, I'm going to edit everything. But the honest truth is that I'm really looking for an amazing video editor. So if you know anyone who you've worked with directly, please do not send me anyone that you have not worked with directly. But I'm definitely looking to hire someone to help me edit some videos for YouTube. Specifically, I'm looking for the perfect video editor to join my team and make these videos even better. So what is on today's agenda to talk about? We have an amazing lineup of topics. The first one is about Cabinet. The company is launching their Orbit conference this summer. We're going to talk about Laurie, Woolever'S. I think I'm saying that correctly. It's Memoir. She was Anthony Bourdain's former assistant. We're also going to talk about 3 job boards that you should know about. We're going to talk about another memoir dropping that is including Sheryl Sandberg, a lot of drama with her. It is by Wynn-Williams called Careless People. And as always, we're going to throw in a few surprises along the way. The first thing on the agenda is speaking about Cabinet's Orbit conference this summer. Now that if you don't already know what Cabinet is, it was founded by a girl named Julia. And Cabinet is basically, like it says here on the website, the calendar workspace for executive assistants. Be the strategic partner your executive needs because you're more than a calendar manager. You know, I love when people say that they're more than something. So this is our website. If you need help with strategic calendar management, I would look into their platform. I spoke with Julia a few years ago. She's a really cool person. And I wanted to share that they are having their Orbit conference in New York City on July 16th, 2025. It says bringing together executive assistants to discuss the future of executive support in the age of automation and AI. And the truth is that I would actually go to this if I was able to this summer, but there's a few personal things happening that I can't really make any other commitments right now, but I would if I was in New York. And I'm actually going to be in New Jersey, Pennsylvania, and New York for all of the month of May, which is why, and then I'm coming back to Florida at some point. So that's why I'm like, I don't know if I can make the trip back up. They say that they're bringing the best EAs into Orbit this July in New York City. And it's going to be on Roosevelt Island, which I actually haven't been to yet. I lived in Queens for a little bit over a year. And that was one of the places on kind of my bucket list in New York to go to. So I think it's going to be a great scene there. New York City in the summer is the best time, I believe, to visit New York. Some people might argue it's Christmas time, but I hate the cold. So I think the summertime is the best time in New York. It says 14 speakers, 10 sessions, 150 only attendees, which I actually think is a really nice size. I've thought about hosting a More Than an Admin conference in probably a year or two. And 150 to 200 people would be max that I would want for my first one. Then it says, Orbit is where the strategic minds behind leadership come together to refine their craft, harness AI, and elevate their impact on executives' teams. And organizations. I see Annie Kroner here. Annie and I just met a couple days ago, and she's also another awesome person. And it says, why should you join? Well, you want to grow, connect, and innovate. I really think that there's a lot that's happening in the AI world. So anyone that's speaking about that, I'm always interested in hearing what they have to say. I'm looking for others who are way more into the weeds of AI, because as much as I worked at Google and know how to work Gemini, I am in no way an expert on it. I'm really trying to invest in more of my knowledge and application of AI this year. So I am hoping that whoever goes to this will give me their notes from it. So we see that Annie Kroner is going to be speaking on finding strategic alignment with your executive. Jillian is going to be talking about EA versus chief of staff and the path between. And then Fiona, who I met at EA Ignite, love what she's doing, AI Essentials for Everyday Tasks. She also has a course that I'm potentially interested in trying out as well that's geared towards assistants and how they can leverage the usage of AI. So it says what's going to be covered: automation and AI for EAs, leading administrative operations teams, EA versus chief of staff, strategically aligning with your exec. There's going to be even more inspiring speakers, growing your network, and more. And it is $7.99 for non-cabinet members, and it is $5.99 for cabinet members. So I would definitely look into this conference. I think that it's hitting on so many hot topics within the admin world. I think there's going to be great speakers there. Heck, I wish I was speaking there. And I wish that I could join. Like I said, I would join if I was able to be in New York for this summer. So this is the first thing that I was really hoping that you all would be in the know about, because it is so important to know about different EA conferences out there, and especially because bringing together the admin community to me in person is so important. I cannot wait to put on the first More Than an Admin conference. It is on my mind, but I'm going to cheer on everyone else who's putting on big events until I can put on my own. So check out Cabinet, check out the Orbit conference, connect with Julia on LinkedIn. If you end up registering and attending, please report back, because I'm just so curious how it is going to be. Next up on the agenda is discussing Laurie's new memoir, Care and Feeding. Why this is important to us is because this is a former assistant's memoir. And if you know me, my favorite books to read are memoirs. I can read memoirs of anyone. I just think that listening and reading people's life stories is so inspirational. It is the one book that I usually can never put down, because the difference between a memoir and every other book is that no one can copy someone's memoir, because no one has the same life story. No one has the same characteristics about themselves. Everyone has such a unique journey. Sometimes fiction can also be this way, but sometimes fiction books can sound alike. Sometimes all these personal development books and self-help books and admin books can all sound alike. But a memoir, especially when it's well written, can be such an incredible read. It always motivates me, inspires me, and just keeps me engaged in a book. And usually when they're good, I cannot put them down. And I already started listening to this book, and I probably will not sleep for the next couple of days until I finish it, because I was so interested in listening to this story. And I love the voice of, I think it might be Laurie, but whoever is reading this book, I really like their voice. And something that I learned with audiobooks is I'm not a huge audiobook person, except when it comes to memoirs or anyone that has an interesting voice. Let's get into reading what Care and Feeding is actually about. It says, in this moving, hilarious, insightful memoir, Laurie Woolever'S, I hope I'm saying that right, Laurie traces her path from a small town childhood to working at revered restaurants and food publications, alternately bolstered and overshadowed by two of the most powerful men in the business. But there's more to the story than the two bold-faced names on her: Mario Batali, I think I'm saying that right, and Anthony Bourdain. Behind the scenes, Laurie's life is frequently chaotic and often pleasurable buffet of bad decisions at which she frequently overstates her welcome. Acerbic. Wow, you guys are starting to realize I cannot read out loud very well. And this is why when I was younger, I hated when the teacher would call on me and ask me to read. And Riley, self-deprecating, Laurie attempts to carve her own space as a woman in this world that is by turns toxic and intoxicating. Laurie seeks to try it all, from a seedy Atlantic City strip club to the Park Hyatt Tokyo, from a hippie vegetarian co-op to the legendary El Bulli, while balancing her consuming work with her sometimes ambivalent relationships to marriage and motherhood. As the food world careens towards an overdue reckoning, and Laurie's mentors face their own high-profile descents. She's confronted with the questions of where she belongs and how to hold on to the parts of her life's work that she truly values, care and feeding. Okay, my greatest apologies towards me reading out loud because, again, apparently I cannot read words correctly. But I really think that a memoir like this that's not even just focused on the people that we support, but actually our own stories and our own lives, that to me is brilliant. I will read anyone's memoir that is from the assistant world. In fact, I want to read all of them because I think that so many times our stories get lost, and especially if you're supporting someone high profile or very successful, so many people want to know about their story. And I think that they can oftentimes forget that we have our interesting journeys too. So I love that Laurie decided to write this book. She has supported, again, two of extremely successful people in the cooking world, especially because Anthony Bourdain's death was so unexpected and surprising to many people that I think that people are really going to be interested in hearing her perspective on things. I was never a huge Mario or Anthony fan by any means. I loved Top Chef growing up. That was the cooking show that I watched. I obviously knew who these two gentlemen were, but I was never a mega fan. So I actually didn't watch any of her past interviews. I saw that she was on Joe Rogan before, but now I'm really tapped into this book. And Laurie, if you somehow listen to this, please come on the show. I would love to even hear your book process, everything that you're not even talking about on all the other networks that are way bigger than mine. But I would love to talk to you about stuff in the assistant world, things that you learned about being an assistant and what advice you would give to other assistants, especially when it comes to sharing their story, because I'm sure that you had to decide what you were going to include, what you weren't going to include. I would love to hear everything. And I know our audience would definitely love to hear more of your assistant specific journey and how it led you to all of the different places. I'm sure in your book that we will also read about that. And I cannot wait to finish the book. So I wanted to make sure everyone knew about this book. If you have any books that you're reading that you think our audience should know about, I'm always being asked about assistant books, and I will always talk about the memoirs first. And that is just because I think that they are usually really interesting. So check out Laurie Woolever'S. I got to get the name right first. Care and Feeding, a memoir. It was just released. Please let me know if you're reading it too. And yeah, we could talk about it at one of our future More Than an Admin meetings as well. The next thing that we're going to discuss are 3 job boards that should be on your radar while you're job searching. So I have been trying to post open jobs on LinkedIn, and I used to just repost them, but now I'm trying to add a job search tip so that people are not only just seeing the job search link, but they're actually learning something at the same exact time. And I think that a lot of people are enjoying them. I can obviously not post every single job I see. There are places that have tons of jobs listed that I think that not everyone knows about. So I wanted to share 3 different job boards that I know about that I hope everyone else does that's job searching. So we're going to start with the first one, which is Pally Talk. Let me share my screen again. So I just spoke with Anna. Sorry if I got your name wrong. I'm doing bad with names today. But we spoke and I had signed up just to see their platform, and I actually really like the website. So you can go to pallytalk.com, you can create a account, and then you're going to come up here and go to jobs, and you can see view all jobs. And this is specifically for female assistants, just so you know. So you can see all these different jobs listed, even chief of staff, PA, EA, and then you could put freelance, full-time, fully remote, hybrid, internship, on-site, part-time, temporary. You can figure out which ones that you want to click. I think this is just a really good platform in general. I was telling her that I love the actual just website. I think it's very user-friendly. I love the font that they use. I think that what she's building is great. She's really big on focusing right now on helping people find jobs because so many people in our industry are struggling to find the right jobs for them. So I would definitely have Pally Talk as one of the places that you should search for jobs. Get yourself an account, sign up, and definitely use this platform during your job search. The second job board that you want to know about is Jeremy Burroughs, a leader assistant. So I have joined their Circle community a while ago. Jeremy is actually the first person in the industry that I spoke to, maybe now 5 years ago during the pandemic. Leader Assistant was the first podcast that I was on. So I always like to give Jeremy his flowers because I was a nobody in the outside world. At Google, I was a somebody, but to everyone else, I was a nobody. And he let me on his podcast. And so I have joined his community. And oftentimes I will tell people about his job board because I've seen a lot of great opportunities. I get all of the jobs usually sent to my email. So if I see one that I like or want to forward to someone else, I usually will. So you sign up for his circle community. I'm sure it's on leaderassistant.com somewhere. That he doesn't just have jobs on here. He has a ton of other stuff, but you can see that people will post here different EA roles. Sometimes they're specific to a region. Sometimes they're not, but I would definitely join his job board. I find that a lot of people submit jobs there and people are often trying to, again, sometimes none of these jobs are actually posted publicly. Sometimes it's just, oh, I'm looking for someone and we're only doing referrals right now. And that's like the biggest way I feel as though to get through the ATS system is to try to get a referral first so that they will take your resume and actually give it to the hiring manager or the hiring recruiter before you have to go through the ATS system. So this is another great community to join and look at their job market. And again, in this circle community, there's so many other things as well. This is a free version. I know that Jeremy has a paid version as well and probably has even more stuff. Then the next up one that I think everyone should know about is the Exceptional Admins job board. Now, Helani Ellis is one of my friends. I love her. Let me just give her her flowers. She was someone that came into my life last year and really has helped me with my faith, personally, health and wellness. Someone that has really kept in touch with me without me being the one that's always messaging first. Because when I left Google, and even before that, I kind of stepped back from talking to a lot of people in the admin industry. I was just like, I don't know who's for real, who's not. And so I made a promise to myself that last year I was not going to try to be someone who was hovering over people or trying to beg people to like me or anything. And not that I've ever done that, but I really was taking a step back from relationships to see who was going to invest in me. And Helani has been someone who has been huge in my faith journey. Like I said, my relationship with Matt, she's just poured so much personally into me. And that's why she also is someone that I just like look up to in this industry because I think that she's built a really successful brand for admins. And that includes her job board as well. And I get her emails. She usually sends an email, I think, every week with a few featured jobs. But this is just the exceptionaladmins.com. You can come here, click here for jobs. You see EA opportunities, transforming jobs into administrative career ventures. You can click here. I think also you can see some testimonials, all this, and then view opportunities. So right now she has one that's featured in Fort Worth, Texas, EA job board. Yeah, so you could put the location. So let's put New York City as just a test. And then let's put in keywords, executive assistant. Oh, there's no jobs that she has right now in New York City. Let's just see it. Let's play around with this. Let's put Austin, Texas. Oh, no jobs there. I'm sure that there are jobs, but let's see, Plano now. Oh, see, we got one. So then you would click here. I'm just trying to take you this to see what the portal kind of looks like. And then again, you would just see all of this and then you could apply. So this is the third job board that I think you should really know about because again, I usually once a week get jobs sent to me. Now, I'm not job searching. I just always look at them in case I know anyone because many people come to me. So I'll forward it to some of my friends. Don't forget Pally Talk, Leader Assistant, and Exceptional Admins. If you know any others, please let me know in the comments which job boards I should be looking at. I know that there are a few others. These are just the three that came to my mind right now. I'm sure, again, there's a bazillion other people that I don't know about, and put them in the comments, shout them out so that people can know about where to look for jobs because I know it is tough out there. I know it is challenging, and let's help people get placed and land in their dream gig. That's not just to land a job, but let's hope that more people land their dream job in the admin world. Next up, we're going to talk about a memoir that has definitely taken the scene in the tech industry, which is written by Sarah Wynn-Williams, called Careless People. And how this hit on my radar was that I had saw that Sheryl Sandberg was trending, and again, anything in the tech world, I kind of really hone in on because I used to work in the tech industry, and Sheryl Sandberg specifically used to work at Google as well as Meta. So it was definitely on my mind to see what was going on. So I was reading this New York Post article, which I'll show, but it is about something that was written in this book, Careless People by Sarah Wynn-Williams. And it is a cautionary tale of power, greed, and lost idealism, an explosive insider account charting one woman's career at the heart of one of the most influential companies on the planet. Careless People gives you a front row seat to Meta, the decisions that have shaped world events in recent decades, and the people who made them. Now, since I worked at Google, I know that when you work at a company like this, you pretty much can drop a book, and if you're going to give any secrets away, it's going to be a hot topic. So I bet that this will be on the bestsellers list because people will want to know what happens at a lot of these big companies. This is her, I think, personal website for the book as well. Her bio is a former New Zealand diplomat and international lawyer. She joined Meta after pitching a job, ultimately becoming director of global public policy. After leaving the company, she has continued to work on tech policy, including artificial intelligence. Now, let's get into what I wanted to talk about, which is what I posted on my LinkedIn, which is she talks about how Sheryl Sandberg spent with her assistant. Let's find the exact words so I don't get anything messed up. It says, Wynn-Williams also alleged in the book that Sandberg spent $13,000 on lingerie for herself and another subordinate, her personal assistant, in quotes, Sadie, and that she grew irritated when Wynn-Williams declined the former COO's invitation to come to bed while on a private jet flight. There's also another part, which I think was in a different article, where it talks about how Sheryl Sandberg and her assistant used to, while transporting somewhere, would sleep on each other's laps and kind of like pet each other's hair. And this story really struck me because there's a few really important things to consider. One is excessive leadership spending. What is excessive? Now, I think anyone who spends $13,000 on lingerie, we all know is probably ridiculous and probably not really legal or best for company policy. But the truth is, and I bet a lot of people would agree, is that leaders do this. If anyone's leader doesn't do that, that is amazing. That is great. You're working for someone awesome. But a lot of leaders spend money on crazy stuff. I can tell you at my time at Google and Henry Schein, I definitely saw things, not necessarily even from my own executives, but things I saw directly from other friends with their executives they were supporting. I can tell you right now, I supported one person at Google who to me was doing everything illegal with spending, and I did not have any control over their account, and I did not want any control over their account. And when we think about taxes, there's a lot of things that business people will write off on taxes, or they will just charge to their business account. Like sometimes you'll see women who will, this is no one who I've supported, let me be very clear, but I've heard and I've seen how people will spend money on hair and makeup and jewelry and wardrobe and put it on the company's expense because it's almost like a uniform, or like it's for the company, for them to look good on behalf of the company. I've heard that multiple times. And so lingerie hopefully will not be anything that the company should support. But it's interesting because some people might say, well, who cares? And some other people might be like, what the heck? So very curious to know. Don't put it in the comments, but I am curious to know if anyone has seen their own leader spend excess amounts that is really not supposed to be on a company card. The second thing that it brings up is leader and assistant boundaries. Some people might say that is very weird. A leader and a assistant are sleeping in the same bed, which is allegedly. I do not know. I'm just reporting on what this memoir and what this New York Post article said. Some people might say it's very weird if an assistant and their leader are sleeping in the same bed, even again, if nothing physical is happening. People might say, oh, it's fine if she's just combing her hair and they're just laying in each other's lap. They're both women. They both don't care. This is consensual. Other people might be like, does that assistant feel kind of pressured to do that because Sheryl Sandberg is her boss? Does she feel like she has to have this close relationship? There's so many interesting dynamics at play. And I've seen good things happen and bad things happen with boundaries like this. I've seen some assistants, they get super close to their executive and they think that they're besties, and something happens. And the assistant, let me just tell you, is usually never going to be the one that's protected by the company. So I would say if you don't feel comfortable doing something as an assistant, you feel as though lines are being weird, please withdraw yourself or leave the company, honestly, because if you are put in this position and then you accuse a big leader like Sheryl Sandberg or something, usually it will be you that is fired. The company is always going to protect the leader, unfortunately, in 99.9% of cases. When I saw this, I was like, is this far-fetched? Honestly, I don't think it's that far-fetched. I've heard so many crazy stories of things happening with leaders and assistants, whether consensually or not consensually. But I really do wonder also if it's very innocent. Because the other thing that I want to bring up is anyone could say anything. I've been falsely accused of a crime before. My memoir will definitely address that. And I think that it has made me really question some people when they write memoirs or anything like this without hard evidence. Now, I have not read this memoir. If it's on an audiobook, I'm definitely listening to it. When you think about what you're going to write as a memoir, as even I am really trying to think about what does the reader actually need versus what is just a hit piece or what is just something extra that can get clicks, right? Like I had definitely a ton of stories that can get my book to be sold and get people to be interested in just because I worked at Google and could talk about crazy things that happened that I've experienced or at Henry Schein or anywhere. But it's like, is that really like, what is the point of including those things if it's not really pertinent to the overall message of this book? Now, I think because her book is about greed and power, I understand why she might include certain things about Sheryl Sandberg. But that just made me really question again, like I'm very curious to see how she writes about it, especially if she does not bring some receipts or that it wasn't documented anywhere, because so many people accuse so many people of something and they're false. And I never thought that anyone could accuse anyone of something so salacious and bad until I experienced it myself. So I just want everyone to also keep in mind, anyone could write anything. It's really easy to just say, well, I've experienced something terrible, so that person can never lie, because I would never lie. Trust me, a lot of people lie. I also know a lot of leaders that suck, that people think are amazing, and they suck behind closed doors. I will say that there are a lot of things that billionaires that I've been around, even millionaires that make a ton of money, they lose sight of reality. They think that they are invincible. They feel as though they've earned their spot, so they can spend an exorbitant amount of money. They can do things that other people can't because they've earned their right to do it. So I can see it both sides. I don't know what the truth is. I'm curious to read the memoir or listen to the audiobook. I'm so curious to see if Sheryl Sandberg responds to this. Maybe she already has and I haven't seen. I'm so curious if the assistant is going to come forward. Again, any assistant that worked for Sheryl Sandberg, you are welcome on the podcast at any time. You don't even have to speak about Sheryl Sandberg, like specifically. You could say nice things about her, but you are welcome on the show anytime you want to talk. And then the other thing I'll say is I actually met Sheryl at Davos at the World Economic Forum in 2016. And she was very nice to me. We met for like 60 seconds to 2 minutes. And at the time, I went up to her because someone had told me that her and a bunch of other people were going to come out of this big meeting. So I kind of was at the right place at the right time. And I just went up to her, was like, hey, thanks for what you do for women. Because I like to do that to some people. We all know you can't fangirl over these people. I just say thank you and I see what they say. So I said thank you. She said to me, wow, that's so nice of you. She's like, thank you. She's like, thank you for coming up to me. Thank you for what you do. And I thought that was very nice. Now, again, I met her for 30 seconds, a minute, 90 seconds. But I don't have anything bad about my interaction with her. But we all know that when someone is saying something nice to you, no one is going to say anything mean or be weird. But she could have easily walked away. She could have easily said, hey, like, what are you doing? Like, I don't know you. Because I had other leaders do that at Davos where their like team came in front of me and didn't want me to meet with them. I had a good interaction. When I was at Google, I never necessarily heard anything bad about Sheryl. I didn't ask around that much, but I never heard anything for anyone that did have direct contact with her. And like I said, I would not be surprised, though, having been in front of a lot of billionaires and millionaires, if she's really like this behind closed doors. I'm very curious to read the memoir. Would love if any of her assistants were to come on to the show, or if anyone that maybe they worked on the same teams as Sarah. I don't know. Anyone's welcome to join and give their perspective. But I think this is something to just be aware about, because this specific story, to have a memoir where it has an assistant in it being accused of kind of like this weird relationship with such a powerful leader, is really interesting. And I hope anyone that reads this book or has their own take on it, please in the comments again, please let us know. So that is it on Careless People, the new memoir by Sarah Wynn-Williams, who used to work at Meta. And yeah, I hope that everyone enjoys this book if you decide to read it. That is it for this More Than an Admin News Show episode. I'm so excited that you decided to watch it all the way through to this moment. I promise you it's going to only get better from here. If you have any tips on stories, anything you want us to respond to, you can always message us at team@morethananadmin.com. You can put in the comments. You could DM us, More Than an Admin's website. We have a contact page. You can DM me on LinkedIn. You can find me on Instagram. But if there's anything that you really want me to talk about, react to, just share something that you think that other people should know about in the assistant world, I'm very excited to bring to you everything that's hot, spicy, that's important, that's newsworthy. I'm really excited about this show. I'm really excited about what people in our industry are doing. There's going to be times where I also disagree with people, and there's definitely going to be times where I talk about how I differ from other people and their views in our industry. And that's a great thing. We all have different experiences. We all have different viewpoints. And you, as all of our listeners, get to decide for yourselves what you believe in. Because to me, I am not about telling people what to do, what to think. I'm about here. I'm going to tell you my experience. I'm going to tell you my insight. And I just want people to critically think. I want people to make their own decisions based on as much information that they have, as many viewpoints as they can get to make the best decision for them. Anyway, we will be back with another episode coming up very soon.